Check 1 2.
Mr. Bede? Mr. Bede, sorry. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Yagnik?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
Okay, thank you. Each member of the public that wishes to speak after each item is presented and discussed to the board will have 3 minutes per items. Representatives, associations, and groups will have 5 minutes. Jamie, if we could do the swearing in, please.
Anyone intending to testify, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any testimony given at this public hearing will be truthful and accurate? Yes. Okay, thanks.
Okay, excellent. First case, case number 250-20001, 1208 Northeast 16th Terrace. Do we have an applicant? Okay. If you could please stand up, we're going to ask for disclosures in the meantime. Amy?
I did a site visit.
Okay, Doug?
Nothing. Which one?
This is the first case, 1208 Northeast 16th Terrace. 20001.
They both say 01.
That's a 4, that's a 2. It's okay, I'll help you out here. Teamwork. Bob?
Nothing.
Okay, Samir?
No.
Pat? No. And I did a site visit. Okay, come on up. We're going to have you state your name, your property address. Just make sure the little red light's on to speak. By the way, board, also so you know, if there's anything that's being presented, the TVs now are up here in front of us, so versus down where we're used to. Okay.
My name is Adriana Grael. Sorry.
There we go.
So my name is Adriana Grael. I'm the contractor and helping the owners on this variance. The address is 1208 Northeast 16th Terrace. It's existing a carport built with the house, with the property, and we wanted to make it a garage. So, you know, it would look nicer and they can use it as a garage and close it and keep their bikes and things there without any, you know, danger or anything like that. But when we got to the permits, the existing carport was built too close to the property line. So we had to ask for this variance in order to keep it the way it is, so we just can build a garage. And then the second thing was the overhang, which it was as built, but it's also 0.7 longer than it should be. And that's about it.
Okay. I'm sure we may have some questions, so I'll have you have a seat right there, and we're going to see if there's anybody from the public wishing to speak on this matter. Anybody? Okay, seeing none, we're going to bring it back to the board, see if there's any questions of the applicant. So we'll let you stand back up again. Is that somebody that's going to speak, or?
No, he's not going to speak. He's the owner.
Okay, then I'm going to have you stand back up to the microphone to answer any questions we may have.
All right.
Okay, thanks. Sorry for the exercise there. Doug, go ahead.
Yeah. How far are the columns and the wall? How far will that be from the property line?
Where the columns are right now.
Is that where the wall's going?
That's where it's going. That's where the footing is. So we're going to keep it that way. It's going to keep.
And what's the distance to the property line?
Let me see if I have it here. I had that on the plans.
It's not on the plans.
No, on the
No.
survey? I don't
You have 2.7, but I don't know what your 2.7 to.
2.7 is from the slab. So I didn't bring it with me. I'm sorry. Let me get my phone.
So you're expecting the outside of the wall to be 2.7?
Yeah, the outside? Yes, the outside, yes. The
Okay.
columns are going to be existing, but the outside, because, you know, it's bigger, is going to be at there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sorry about that.
Does anybody else have any questions? The applicant, Pat?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is for you or staff, but the carport itself is currently too close, right? So they need a variance even to be able to keep their carport where it currently is, even if they don't enclose it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so are you asking for what, like if If we don't give you one, can we give them the other?
Yeah, the carport as is, it's legally existing non-conforming.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was there since it's built. So, I mean,
So-
if they wouldn't have enclosed it, they would not have come here.
Okay, so if for some reason their variance to enclose it is denied, they're not going to have a problem maintaining their carport there.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Jamie, if you could announce our new board member that's going to be joining us for this evening. We're not going to have you vote on this one because you didn't get to hear everything, and we'll move you on to the second one.
That is Mr. Galis, is it? Okay, thanks.
So let me just make one more clarification, Board. If, let's say, even if it's existing non-conforming today, right? Even if they didn't enclose it, what is happening over the years, which you have seen, and we are trying to get an approved by the city commission, that's a different story. But if they try to sell part of the BOS, but in general, if they try to sell the property, the title company might come and ask us to say it's okay. So we can only say at the time it's legally non-conforming okay. We cannot approve it, the way it is, so.
So, Chair, just a deviation, in terms of the new board member, with regards to state statute, he would have to vote since he's present. So if he can make any inquiries he needs to in order to get up to speed on the item, but he will not be allowed to abstain from voting since he is present.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was unaware. And by the way, since we are midstream and back and forth, do you have any disclosures on this particular property?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. Since the carport, the house was built with a carport existing, it wouldn't be like you're saying, kind of grandfather in?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
just make-
Grandfathered in, as an existing non-conforming structure.
Exactly.
Question, if we approve the roof and not if we approve the roof request and not the other request, they're okay then with the existing carport?
No, because that's not part
No.
of the request.
Oh, they're asking for two things. One is to close in the carport, and one is to approve the fact that the roof is larger than it should be. I was just asking if we approve the roof, does that solve their problem, or they still have another problem? Okay. Non-conforming. Okay.
They're saying as is.
Can I ask a question? The footers are where they are, but your roof line is going to extend even further than the two, no?
No, it's going to stay as it is. The slab and the roof is going to stay as it is. We're not touching that. It's
Okay.
only closing the wall, so make it a garage. And the main reason to asking for this is because if we make it any closer to the house, let's say to abide to the 5 foot, a car would not fit in it, so it would
Yeah.
lose the purpose of the garage.
Well, that's debatable.
Well, maybe it will fit the car, but you couldn't get out because we did try it. It will fit, but then you have to get out through the trunk. or very, very uncomfortable.
Go ahead,
So
Samir.
is the second variance does it even need to be on here?
That's what I
If
couldn't-
it's already existing? And there's not going to be any change to it, whether it's staying as an existing carport or if it's going to be enclosed.
So you're
So
asking if-
doesn't that get grandfathered in?
So you're asking about the second one?
Right.
And I'm going to go back to staff for that and just ask for clarification. We'll leave it up to you, Mohammed or Bert.
I think that goes back to the question that we asked originally, which is they're asking for that for the existing structure because the existing structure is 1.3 say 2.7 or 1.6, whatever, over. So if everything else fails, they want to be able to maintain that at that distance.
No, so what it is as a carport, because it was already built as is, it was grandfathered in. If we don't touch it, nothing happens, it's grandfathered in. But the moment we're gonna do any changes to the existing carport, it will have to bring up to the new code. So that's the reason for the variance, because then we kind of like dip into the new code and new zoning code, so we have to be abiding unless we get a variance for the garage, not for the carport.
Well, but your variance request is requesting a variance to allow the existing 1.6 deep overhang to remain where it is.
Yes, because since we're touching it, even if we're closing that, then it triggers the other part. Like anything that we touch, whatever it is, if we touch it, then we're triggering everything that goes with it.
Okay.
I think they can,
So I think it's not to allow it to exist, it's to allow a garage to be constructed with a 1.6 deep overhang.
exactly.
It's just not phrased correctly. Is that,
Exactly.
Dwayne, you paying attention to me?
I am paying attention.
Good, just checking.
So the variance request is from the setback requirement and the overhang requirement for the existing carport, but they also added this request, or they're informing the board of their intent to turn it into a garage. Now, the existing non-conforming, and as you know, colloquially people call it grandfathering, and as the applicant has stated, they can continue to have the property as a legal non-conforming use if they don't do certain improvements to their property. If they exceed the improvement threshold that the code provides for legal non-conforming structures, then they would have to bring the entire structure up to code. I guess I'm not hearing that in terms of the level of improvements that they're seeking, but in terms of granting the variance for the existing structure, that is something that you can do. If you want to consider a condition of approval that they not be able to enclose that structure, that may be something that you can propose as a condition of the approval, but you're approving the distance of the structure, not the type of structure.
So as is, they don't need to request a second variance, but because they're looking to enclose the carport to make it into an enclosed garage, then they have to now request the second variance because they're improving the existing structure.
So if you guys approve the variance for the carport to be enclosed, you're approving a new setback. So that setback is going from 5 feet to 2.7. And the code says that you can only be 1/3 the setback for the overhang. But by approving that, now we want to cover that the overhang is now 0.7.
Okay.
If it's not approved, you can do a conditional for just the roof itself. Or, you know, if you deny the whole thing, then it stays as is, legal non-conforming, no harm, no foul.
Okay.
But we're just trying to cover it because once you approve the variance for the enclosed garage, it moves the property line over. And now they have to comply with the 1/3 the distance of the setback. So we include that so that they're covered completely.
Okay, because, but the way it's phrased doesn't talk about, to allow basically what they're asking for, the way I understand it, is to be able to enclose this with the dimensions it currently has. And those dimensions would be that it's going to be 2.7 from the property line, and the overhang is going to be 1.6. But the way it's phrased is to allow the existing carport to be 1.6. It doesn't talk about what happens when they build a garage. And I think it should, because I think if we just vote, assuming people are going to vote for it, I don't know what people are going to do, but if people vote to approve the variance as they have requested, it doesn't solve their problem. Because if you say, requesting a variance to allow an existing 1.6 deep overhang to remain where the code requires X. You're just saying that they can keep what they have there, not that they can build a new thing. That's not how that reads.
Can I say something? Sorry, because
They're not, well, they are building something
No.
new. They're enclosing something.
One moment, we'll get back to you. You're going to have time.
Do you see my point?
Okay, if not, we could get back with the applicant because I think she
I
has a
do,
response.
but I guess the point that staff is making is that the enclosure will be within the same envelope as the existing structure.
Okay, I mean,
So they're not increasing the roof area. The roof area is not going to extend any further, and the walls of the proposed garage will be at a distance of 2.7 feet from the property line.
Instead of 5 feet.
okay.
Let me let the applicant speak because I know she's been waiting to clarify something.
as I read it, it says requesting a variance from the required 5-foot size setback for a proposed conversion of an existing carport into a garage. So it's not that we're asking for the carport to be up to code. We're asking when we convert it into a garage, you know, if we can do it to convert it to a garage. So it says right here that that's how I read it. Because
Okay.
that's what I think she was asking, like to comply with the existing one. No, it's for the purposes of the garage.
Okay, so,
ahead, Dwayne.
so if I'm understanding you correctly, then you do not want a variance for the existing carport.
Well, the thing is that we wouldn't need it if we don't touch it. It will stay the same way as it is. We don't have to remove it. We don't have to do anything to it if we don't touch it.
Oh, okay. Legal, I mean, it remains legally non-conforming, which still is non-conforming with the code. But, okay, I understand.
Even if it was as built with the zoning regulations of that date, you know, it will have to be totally, you know, like, we had to touch it, okay? But I understand what you're saying, but, yeah.
Microphone then, Bob.
What happens when the property owner, whatever happens tonight, I say nothing happens. She wants to sell that property tomorrow, and that's flagged as a non-conforming existing structure. Is that just allowed on an open market, or since they know it's not, now it's non-conforming, is that disclosed at a sale? Does that prohibit a title company from closing a sale?
I don't know if it's disclosed in the sale. I don't know where the legal nonconformity, if in this particular instance, would be recorded anywhere. But it does affect them in permitting with regards to the legal nonconforming structure. The code prevents them from making any enlargements or alterations that increases the nonconformity. And so any future property owner would be affected by the fact that they did not seek to get that rectified once they have identified that there's an issue there.
Okay, I'm sorry, you still going, Bob?
And this should be two separate questions, correct, for the board?
There are two
two variances.
requests. There are requests for variances from two different sections of the code. 47-5.33, which is the setback, reducing the setback from the 5 feet to the 2.7. And then there's a request for a variance from 47-19.2.b, which presumes that you're granting the prior variance and provides a measurement from the, calculates a measurement of 1/3 of that 2.7 setback to be 0.9 feet.
And the secondary variance would be moot if we vote down the first one.
Yeah, the second one would
Yes.
be, the second one would be needed more if we vote down the second one. Because the second one, which is my whole language problem with this, is
it's
the
already
second one is
non-conforming.
allowing the existing one to stay there. Whether they enclose it, whether they do, you know, whatever they do, they are asking to allow that to exist where it is. That is the request that they are making. And that's why I'm saying it doesn't really make sense.
Now,
Because
excuse me, I believe that if it's 1.6 now, that's only 1/3 of 5 feet. So she's conforming as it currently stands with a 5-foot setback. she's only 1'6" over. Is that true? It only becomes a problem when she changes the 5 feet to 2 something, the math changes.
That's why I said when you move the setback, that's when it creates the problem.
Right, so right now she's
one
fine.
third of 5 foot, 60 inches is 20 inches. 1'6" is 18 inches, so it's in compliance, the overhang part of it.
Currently.
Currently. So if
Then
you
how is
deny
it-
it, it's irrelevant, that the overhang is compliant. Once you move the setback line for the garage to be built, that's when it decrease, that 1/3 is no longer in compliance. And so we're just trying to cover all the bases for them.
Okay.
And I think that's why we put the math in there that at 2.7, the 1/3 is 0.9 feet. And they are at 1.6 feet, so that's the variance is 0.7 feet. So this overhang, which is existing, that's what, 0.7 feet into the setback with the new setback, if it gets approved, the first one.
Okay, is there any other questions of the applicant from the board? Seeing none, and close the public hearing. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bring it back to the board for any further discussion and/or a motion.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Bob.
For the purpose of moving this forward, I'd like to move to grant a variance to the property owner, section 47-5.33, table dimensional requirements for the RC-15, RCS-15 district, approving the variance request from the required 5-foot side yard setback for proposed conversion to an existing carport into a garage reduced to 2.7 feet, total variance requested 2.3 feet. So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. Jamie?
Mr. Mead?
No.
Mr. Galis?
Yes.
Ms. Mergler?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn? Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Yagnik?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes, motion
Passed
passes.
6-1.
Do we have a motion for the second variance?
Guess I'll do it.
I'll
Or
make
you-
a motion to approve the variance for 47-19-2B as it meets the criteria for the granting of a variance with, and there you go.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on this one? Okay, Jamie?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Mergler?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Yagnik?
Yes.
Mr. Galis?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes,
Passed 7-0.
motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next case, case number 25040001, 803 Southeast 12th Court. And we have an applicant. Before we get you started, we're going to ask for any disclosures. I did want to make note that we did receive correspondence, both yes and also one no, in writing. Other than that, we're going to go with Jared. Any disclosures?
No.
Okay, Amy?
No.
Doug?
No.
Okay, Bob?
None.
Samir?
None.
Pat? None. And I did a site visit. So hard to do a site visit, but I did a site visit. So, and you've both been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Please.
wait, I don't think I did.
Didn't? Jamie, if we could swear in second person?
I apologize.
It's okay.
Just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any testimony given at this public hearing will be truthful and accurate?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. So if you could please state your name and property address.
Yes, of course. My name is Roman Dalichow. This is my wife, Jade Herring. We live at 803 Southeast 12th Court. That's in Fort Lauderdale, 33316.
Okay,
Cool.
state your case.
Yep, so I'll run through a little bit of the high level of what we're requesting. We did prepare a video to kind of put a visual to what it is that we're requesting as well. So our request is for a variance to allow an existing metal structure to remain in place on our roof deck. We live in a townhome structure, which is 3 levels and the roof deck on top. The height is 9 feet 10 inches from the top of the roof deck, which happens to be 31 feet 3 inches above the finished floor. So the total height of the structure is 41 feet 1 inch. So we are requesting a variance of 6 feet 1 inch or 73 inches, as the ULDR section 4753 allows a maximum structure height of 35 feet. So when we purchased the property, we noticed that there are other townhomes in our neighborhood, and we also noticed that other units in the complex and adjacent ones had structures for sun protection on their roof. Some of these were seemingly looking permanent structures, as well as fence post type structures. And recognizing that this is our only private outdoor space, as the way our property is set up, which you'll see in the video, we are on the rear-facing side of our townhome, and there is no other enclosed property. The front-facing units and many of the other ones in the neighborhood have an enclosed yard. So seeing that we saw other buildings that had structures already established, we plan to install a similar one. We needed some relief, obviously, from the temperatures. That's obviously one of the things that we do know when we live in Florida that extreme temperatures are a thing. But again, when we purchased the property, we saw other existing structures, okay? We obtained consent from our HOA board. That was unanimous for the design, and we shared engineering drawings with them that allowed them to vote positive on it. And with safety in mind, we looked for a contractor that was capable of also delivering a professionally engineered structure that would withstand the wind loads here through the permitting process. So the overall cost of the unit was about $17,000, and that price included permitting from the contractor, but the permitting was not done. The awning is not a freestanding shade structure. It is attached to the side of the wall, which you'll see shortly. And it's really important to note that our opinion is it does not exceed the building's, the top of the roof, the building's maximum height, which is 42 feet 9 inches. And finally, we can't adjust the height without completely taking it down. It is a custom engineered and manufactured building or a structure for our building and our property specifically. And again, as I mentioned, it is located at the rear of the structure, not visible from street level. Jerry, if you don't mind showing, the roof view video, that would be great. So one of the things that was important for the HOA board was that it also is consistent with the rest of what the building and the community looks like. And so we thought it looks nice and in accordance with the rest of the building structure. And so you can see it's made out of powder-coated aluminum. And in the second video, you'll see that it meshes really nicely, in our opinion, with some of the other things that are on the property. So this is the outside of the property from the street view. You can see similarly colored metal structures along the side of the building. And those units that were just in view here on the front, they have private fencing. I'm going around the back of the structure now, which is where our unit is, and you'll notice that there's no privacy. It's a big open yard here. Thank you, and then the final video, please. And the final video is the neighboring townhome units next to us, and you'll notice this is the existing structures that you can see on the rooftops that exist here that are already in place. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak to this matter? It would only be you two who are left, so if you're not speaking, we're good. Okay, in that case, I'm going to bring it back to the board to see if there's any questions. I just did want to disclose that I did do a site visit today, and when I looked through the front, I couldn't see it. When I looked and I actually went in the back of the property, I couldn't see it. I went the street behind you, and between peering through the trees, because I knew where it was, I finally saw it. But just wanted to share that because I did do a site visit. So let's see if anybody has any questions.
Nice presentation.
Okay, Doug, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. If there's no questions for the applicant, then I'm going to, I'll close the public hearing, and let's bring it back for if anybody has a motion to make.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the variance for, requested by the homeowner for section 47-5.35, cable dimensional requirements for the RML-25 district, requesting variance law existing, is that the rooftop? I'm not the right one, yeah. Just a rooftop metal canopy awning to remain at a height of 41 feet, 1 inch, whereas code allows maximum height of 35 feet. Total variance request for 6 feet, 1 inch. Motion to move and approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, Jamie, you're up.
Mr. Mead? Mr. Mead, sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Mergler?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn? Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Yagnik?
Yes.
Mr. Galis? Yes. And Chair Elfman?
Yes.
Pass 7-0.
Motion approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good presentation, by the way.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Charge you for the permit and didn't do it.
Yeah, right? Fun. Okay, next case, case number 25040002. Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
I got a staff question.
Sorry.
If that's
not
not
yet.
a freestanding structure, what do you consider it? And it's not freestanding, but is it the same rules or different rule? It's attached to the building and it's not
It
open.
would be like an awning. If not a freestanding structure, because it is attached to the building, that's why it's a structure to the building. But if it was freestanding awning, but we would look at it as a awning in the awning sections, like a gazebo or, independent structures.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, so now we'll call our next case, case number 25040002, 651 Northeast 19th Avenue. Hi. Turn the button if you would, please.
Sorry.
And state your name and your property address.
Sure. Teresa Pyle and Vincent Pyle. I don't know if he has to say his own name, but 651 Northeast 19th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale 33304.
Great. Before you start, I'm sorry, I just need to ask if there's any disclosures. So, Jared?
Nope.
Amy?
I did a site visit and I know the applicant.
Okay. Is that going to prevent any unfairness? Okay. Doug?
No.
Okay. Bob?
None.
Samir?
None.
Pat? None. And I did a site visit as well. So, sorry, go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to be honest, I really don't know where to start, but we're applying for the variance because we did some updates on our home, including a new roof, new windows, a new front porch with some moving of electrical to install double doors. And the last piece of the renovation was the carport for my husband. We never were really concerned, to be honest, about the carport plan being an issue when we discussed it with our GC, because we knew that not that long previous to this, we had to rip out our fence and move it back based on an update on the setback. There was like a new setback, so we had to rip out like a brand new fence and move it back another 2 feet and then reinstall. So as property owners, we knew that like that 3-foot mark had become a big deal. And we're like, okay. So we discussed the plans, we have the structural plans. The last piece of the renovations for this 3-side open canopy carport was going to be used for, protection and a little bit of privacy for cars and some other things. I wish we could have afforded to build a garage, but we just couldn't. So the carport canopy was our best option. And we really only realized that there was an issue with the setback when we got the letter on the front door about there being a compliance issue. So we called Mr. Martinez immediately and said, you know, what's going on? What exactly is the problem? Just because I don't know, I don't have any background in building or zoning or permitting, and that was a lot to try to sort through at the very beginning of this process. But he said that there was no permit pulled for this, and I said, what do you mean there was no permit pulled for this? We have permits for everything we've done, but come to find out later, there was no permit pulled for this. So I said, okay, what's my next step? I came down here, I went to go pull the permit. It got stuck in zoning. And then I said, okay, well, what's the problem there? So then they explained to me that my carport was built inside my setback. And then when we finally sat with the Board of Adjustment for our preliminary meeting, we found out that there was an exterior wall in our home on that side that was also in the setback. So it was just a lot of things that we're learning secondhand, that we tried to do everything by the book so well, and now we're here asking for this variance just so that we can keep it and try to stop the bleed of the money that we have spent on all of these renovations. And I honestly never planned on, we never planned on the carport going anywhere else because it didn't really make sense for it to be anywhere else on the property. There's really no other place for it to be. And we didn't know there would be a problem at all. And we've had multiple neighbors. Our neighbor, Tim Singer, stopped by last night and said, oh, I saw you're going to go. The house looks great. The carpet looks great. I mean, all the neighbors have complimented it. And we're just asking for the variance to be able to keep it, because to be able to hire a new GC because of what happened with this previous GC not doing this correctly for us. I don't even want them on the property again. If I have to hire a new GC and have to tear this down, it's a total loss. So, and the carport was literally the only part of the renovations that my husband wanted. So we're here just trying to figure out what my options are, trying to get the variance just to keep it. We plan to add a hedge of collusia, like a privacy hedge, there between the three carport posts that seem to be the problem, and the sidewalk, just to add more privacy. We just know we can't do anything or touch anything else until we have this meeting and we see what our options are and if we can get this approved.
So there are two variances in front of us. And there's
Yes.
the carport.
Mm-hmm.
And also the existing building. I just wanted to see what that's about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so everything from our kitchen sink out is non-conforming?
Oh, yeah, it's
Sorry. So if you're looking, it would be the whole northern wall.
there's a northeast section of the
That
house.
whole northern wall is, I
There's
believe,
one wall that kind of
non-conforming.
jets out that we didn't even realize until Mr.
This
Ford.
whole wall, there's 4 feet in there, and that's,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's the wall basically to the left of the cars, on the driver's side of the
Yes.
cars.
Correct.
Yeah, that's been there
Correct.
since 1949.
Yeah, I don't know if you can, I hope you can see it clear enough in the pictures.
It's already existing, correct?
Yes, it's been that way since we
Okay,
bought the
okay.
house,
Okay.
so.
In 1949, yeah.
Well, it was built in 1949, but we bought it in 2008.
Yeah.
That's the second. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Got to ask, anybody from the public wishing to speak? Okay, I think that's going to be quiet.
Motion.
Well, before I make a motion, let's bring it back, see if there's any questions. Any questions from any of the board members for the applicant? We have two different parts to it in front of us.
Yeah, split it.
Well, I think it's just going to be one. Would that be right? We just have one to vote on, Dwayne? I know it's two different, it looks like two different sections, but just,
I'd prefer that you vote separately for each section.
okay. Let's see, any questions from the board? Okay.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Well,
Move to approve variance for the homeowner. Approve section 47-5.31, table of dimensional requirements for the RS-8 district. Approval to request the variance to allow an existing metal carport to remain at the corner yard setback of 3.0 feet, whereas the code requires minimum setback at 25% of lot width, which is 19.25 feet. A total variance request of 16.25 feet. Motion is to approve.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this one? Okay, Jamie?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Mergler?
Yes.
Ms. Ratburn? Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Yagnik?
Yes.
Mr. Galis?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes.
Passed 7-0.
Okay, first part passes. Do we have a motion for the second part?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Motion is approve to the homeowner section 47-5.31, table of dimensional requirements for RS-8 district. Motion is to approve requesting variance to allow an existing building, non-conforming structure to remain at a corner yard setback of 12.4 feet, whereas the code requires minimum setback at 25% of lot width, which is 19.25 feet. Total variance request of 6.85 feet. Motion is to approve.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, Jamie?
Ms. Mergler?
Yes.
Ms. Ratburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Yagnik?
Yes.
Mr. Galis?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes.
Passed 7-0.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We can keep it?
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Car, by the way. Sports car.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Is
They're
there
for
any-
sale if you want them. I got to pay for the renos now.
I can't afford it now.
You know, now that you got the carport, you're ready to get rid of the car? I don't know about that.
Oh, I can't drive a stick anyway.
Uh,
It's a year. Mr. Ford. It's a fake snake. It's not.
So is there any communication to the city commission? Is there anything for the good of the city? In that case, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.